Hey guys, it's Richard at altFINS with another market update. Yesterday, crypto markets, most of altcoins were down 10 to 15%. Let's take a look. In the last day, right here, we're looking at Bitcoin down 8%, Ethereum down 11%, Binance Coin down 8%, and so on. So a fairly big correction, one-day correction. We'll talk about the cause of this price action, and as well as looking at where we may bottom out and looking at some potential trade setups as well. So the cause of this correction is the same that caused the flash crash on December 4th, if you remember. So on December 4th, this is the chart of Ethereum. You can see big wick on this candle, down wick, all the way to 3,500, and then it closed up back where it started. But if you recall, this is a very ugly day, and so the reason for yesterday's price action is the same, and I think it's really been a narrative since the end of 2021, November or so, when we started. When Bitcoin peaked, in October or so, and it's begun declining since then, and it has to do with potential end of easy monetary policies from central banks around the world. Yesterday, particularly, we had some additional announcements or transcript of the last meeting of the Fed, which is the U.S. central bank, obviously, in which it was evident that the Fed board members were discussing the high inflation and the need to counter that with higher interest rates, as well as winding down of the big balance sheet or winding down of the bond purchasing, all of which were put into place when the COVID pandemic broke out in early 2020. The Fed cut interest rates to stimulate the economy, also increased their bond purchasing to lower the yields and lower the interest rates essentially on debt or loans for corporations as well as individuals. And now they're looking to unwind that because the economy is doing actually quite well. The unemployment has declined significantly since then. Since about 2 years ago, and the inflation has picked up significantly as well. So what that means is when central banks around the world begin to unwind some of the easy monetary policies, capital becomes a bit more expensive, and the risk assets, including crypto and equities, particularly the technology stocks, get impacted the most. Because the valuations of such equities and assets gets impacted, particularly with higher interest rates. Now, I think the initial shock tends to be the worst when we sort of make that inflection from easy to less easy monetary policy, or from declining interest rates to now rising interest rates. History tells us that the initial shock is very negative, but then when the economy continues to chug along, the asset prices rebound. And I think that as the inflation fears begin to dissipate in 2022, which I think they will start actually lapping some of the higher increases in inflation. Among other things, the supply chain issues will start to dissipate as well. And so I think as these fears dissipate, then these risk assets could start working again. So where are we in terms of the technical indications and setups here? So let's go ahead and take a look at some of these charts, starting with Bitcoin. Basically, the theme is that we're back to those December 4th flash crash lows, right? Back to, again, December 4th here. The low was 42,000. We're back at that level. That's where it found some really good support and it bounced up from those levels. You know, we had 25% gains, particularly with the Santa rally at the end of the year. So that is, I think, a very critical level. I think there's a very good chance that it will find support, as well as the market overall. And you'll see that a lot of the coins share these same characteristics. I think the market overall will find support at those levels, and we could see another decent bounce. So I think I look at these pullbacks, sharp pullbacks particularly, as opportunities. Especially also take a look at the RSI, the relative strength index, that basically indicates how overbought or oversold the markets can be. When RSI dips below 30, it's oversold, and it typically doesn't stay at that level very long. As you can see, it typically bounces off of that oversold level. So at a minimum, it could be a decent swing trade for 10-20% gain. And again, we're at that level around 30 RSI. When the RSI reaches 70 or higher, it's overbought. And so you can certainly easily, let's look at a few others, but you can easily use our screener to find such oversold situations. But I wanted to look at a few more examples. Binance coin broke below that 500. So if you look at the curated charts, we talked about Binance consolidating in a descending triangle. And we advised that we need to wait for a breakout in either direction. We certainly got that breakout yesterday when it broke bearishly below $500 support trend line. And it's likely to now reach, well, actually it has reached at this point, where it's got very close to $450. At $450, now we've got the next major support level. It's also it's also a 200-day moving average. It's also where it bounced off a couple times in the past. So 450 looks like a good swing trade for Binance, which is still in the long-term uptrend, even if near short-term and medium-term trends have broken down. But at 450 and at 200-day moving average, it could be an interesting a swing trade. Again, very close to oversold as well. And coins that are in an uptrend, by the way, rarely reach below or dip below 30 RSI. In other words, they're already oversold when they're under 40 RSI. So this one, I would say, is oversold at these levels. That's Binance. And these kinds are the situations that I would be looking for right now. Is the price near the December 4th flash crash lows? Is it near a support level, horizontal support level, and ideally even close to the SMA or simple moving average, a 200-day moving average? It also acts as a support level. Then the support level gets more robust when you have these three things line up. Let's look at another one. Solana. Also back at the December 4th lows. Actually, it's below the December 4th lows. Were higher than this, but it is now at 150 support level. As you can see, it's hanging by a thread at that support level, which is close to the SMA 200. I'm not quite there yet, another 15%, but this could be also getting oversold. This could be another interesting swing entry point. We'll look at, let's just see, XRP, Ripple. It's not quite at the December 4th lows, flash crash lows. The lows there were 60 cents, so we could see for the downside from here on this particular coin. Terra Luna. here the flash crash lows were much lower. I mean, Terra had pretty decent gains thereafter, made some new highs, in fact. So this one looks like a pretty decent sort of pullback in an uptrend, and it's nearing to the next. Let's see, the next support zone was $80. It's broken below that. It's now at 76 and change. It could fight back, so I would monitor that. If it regains that $80 level, we could see some evidence that it's reached the bottom. Otherwise, there is risk of reaching the next support level, which is around $60. In any case, I think one way to do a screen for oversold situations for coins that are in an uptrend. Now, first of all, you could just do a quick, just oversold or even very oversold under 25 and see what that screen spits out. But those tend to be coins that are really in a downtrend, and those are risky trades to be buying anything that's in a downtrend across the board on the short-term, medium, and long-term basis. I prefer to look for coins that are oversold, maybe not extremely oversold, but oversold, but still in an uptrend, at least on the long-term basis. So we'll select RSI 14 is below 40, and coins still have a long-term buy. Now we've got 108. If you wanted to get more restrictive, you could say that even the medium term is a buy. Now that's only 10, so that may be a little too constraining, but you've got some choices here. These could be interesting situations where these coins are still in an uptrend and have pulled back and are really getting oversold. Okay, so that's a decent, I think a screener. So these are coins in an uptrend that are getting to be oversold, and another one would be, another way of sort of, there's always a fear of buying too early and being too early with coins just basically catching a falling knife. And so one more conservative perhaps strategy would be to look for coins that are in an uptrend but have a momentum, positive or bullish momentum inflection. So you basically are waiting for coins or prices to trade up a bit for a day or two to indicate that they have found their bottom. Okay, so here I selected medium, and long-term trend is up, and the MACD histogram. So typically bullish momentum is indicated by MACD crossover. Okay, we can look at those situations, but that is a bit of a lagging signal when compared to the MACD histogram, which tends to turn around in sooner. So if you want to be really early, you select the MACD histogram, or H1 is up. So that means the histogram is up in the last day, at least in the last day. So now we got 48 coins that satisfy that criteria, and we could take a look at what those are. And so these could be situations like this Leo, which I believe is a token of Bitfinex, right? So this one, interestingly enough, it actually spiked up yesterday or today, and now it's trading slightly down, but that's an interesting price action. But as you can see, the MACD histogram bars, these green bars, are slightly up day over day, indicating momentum, slight momentum improvement. So for coins that are trading down or are trending up, but you want to buy them, you might want to wait for that momentum inflection or an early indication of momentum inflection taking stage. Okay, Keep Network is another one. Let's take a look at it. Right, it's down. but it's actually had a slight improvement in MACD histogram. If we wanted to be a little more conservative, then instead of H1, we would select H2. H2 means that MACD histogram has risen 2 days in a row, and that means that's a little it's a little later in terms of, or it's a bit more conservative in terms of gauging the momentum inflection. Okay, but it's also a little safer entry. All right, so that's another one that you could use, and you can save it. By the way, you can also use this alert, create an alert from this, say uptrend and H2 is up, and you can come back to this filter in the future. And in fact, right now, actually, I created an alert. So I will get alerts on a daily basis with a list of coins that satisfy this criteria. And not only that, if I save this filter as well, because previously I just saved and created an alert, but in this case I'm also saving the filter, which is now under my save filters right here. Okay, and so now if we go to signal summary page, we will see our newly created filter down here, uptrend and H2 is up, and you have a quick link to the screen results. So that's a nice shortcut for you that this platform provides. Also, notice that some of the coins are actually trading up today. Let's find those. Let's go ahead and go to the main screener again. I noticed that if I filter my watch list, I noticed that perhaps I think Decentraland was trading up. Look, 10%. So there's got to be some news. A quick way of finding the news is to click on the news tab. And in this case, I noticed that this is the event. There's a link to it as well. Basically, it states that Australian Open will create some NFT and virtual game based on the Decentraland's metaverse platform. So based on this news, I noticed that some couple other metaverse names are trading up as well, which was I believe Engine is up slightly, as well as Sandbox, right? So good way to sort of check the news, and I hope that helps everyone. If you have any questions, please email us at invest@altfins.com. Good luck trading. Thank you.